Hello again and thanks for joining. Today we've got a Marklin model to have a look at. It's number 37851 in their catalogue and it's a model of a Deutsche Bahn Cargo electric locomotive. It's a BR150 and it's in this really great red colour. I think this is actually a digital model, so I'm not quite sure whether we're going to get it running today, but we'll give it a shot anyway. But let's get it out and take a closer look. So in this box we have the usual Marklin warranty card. We also have this booklet about the BR150. And we do have some instructions here in English. So it looks like we have some things that we can set up here, including the headlights. And we've got all these functions over on this side. It says up here that this locomotive is used only on an operating system designed for it, which is the Marklin AC, Marklin Delta, Marklin Digital or Marklin Systems. So I don't have any of that, so I don't think this is actually going to work, unfortunately. But we can certainly have a look at the model. We also have this little bag with a couple of tiny little jumper cables. And we have this collection of pieces that have fallen off. Obviously, two of the buffers have gone, and these parts here, we'll have to try and see where those go, and we'll try and fit them back on. So I've managed to get those parts back onto the bogies. They just fitted on here. But sadly, the buffers have actually snapped off the buffer beam and left part of them inside there. It should be quite easy just to push those out, but I think we need to go to Marklin Spares to get new buffers for this model. And that's obviously been caused by the carrier that sent this to me, because it didn't look like that in the pictures when I bought this. Anyway, we can certainly have a closer look at this locomotive now. It's got some weight to it and it gives an air of class and quality about this model, which is what you'd expect from Marklin. At the front, it's a very clear printing of the Deutsche Bahn logo and the number 150124-6. The windows are flush fit and they've got little windscreen wipers which are actually moulded into the plastic, but they're picked out in black. And the windows have a black surround, and you can see the little inner panel there as well. It looks really good. Inside, we've got some detail in the cab as well. Up here, we've got a little light and black paint across the top here on this little line. A little tiny bit of overspill just here on the corner. A great little handle here, and this part picked out in white very crisply. We've got some lights which I'm sure will work as well. This part here has got some red on the top of it. I'm not sure whether that's prototypical or not. And the buffer beam looks really good as well, and it's even got some printing on it too. With the buffers in place, it looks quite good, but we do have this massive coupling hanging out the front of the locomotive. This part up here is obviously a piece that's going to get broken off, so you're going to handle this quite carefully. Looking down the side of this locomotive, the red paint has been applied really well. We've got wire handrails here at the door, and the handle has been picked out in silver, as well as these little steps coming down here picked out in white, and the black over the top of the door as well. So the decoration on this is mostly really good. Looking further down, we've got some nice grills here, and the masking between the grey and red is spot on. We've got some more windows here, flush fit, and you get an indication of the engine inside here. A bit of plastic is showing through there to represent that. The DB Cargo is very clear as well, as is the number in the middle of the locomotive. And as we look further down, there's more grills all the way along. Another little window here with a representation of the engine inside. And we come to number 2 end here, which is decorated very similar. But we do have some additional printing down in the grey area, which is done really well too. No difference at this end. Obviously you've got the port there for the jumper cables we saw in the extra parts. But we do have a little radio aerial on top here. Another little thing that could be easily broken off. And looking at the top of this locomotive, it's been painted in grey here. Masking is spot on as well. It's got a really good pantograph with all the little electrical connectors on the top here, with some of them being picked out in brown. It's also got really good details like this little checker up on top of here. And there's another one here as well, a little hatch, and very fine detail on this little cable running along here, which is made of metal. So it really does look very good at the top there. The bogies are a nice matte black colour, and there's a lot of detail in there and deep relief. Lots of cables have been moulded in, as well as rivet detail and the braking gear as well. Not much in the middle of these locomotives, just this little part here, which does look really good. And looking underneath, you can see that it has the typical Marklin skid here, and the 2 outer axles on each of the bogies is driven. The ones in the middle are just free to revolve. So it looks like there's 2 screws here, one on this side and one down here, which hold this model together. So let's just take the body off the chassis and we'll have a look at what we've got inside. So the body is made of metal and it does have the provision to have overhead pickup. You can see here where power will be transmitted to the chassis. And the chassis here, again, it's made of metal and it has a circuit here where the LEDs are operating. This also has wires coming down to the couplers, which I believe are actually automatic couplers, which is really quite cool. And the main body here is dominated by this circuit board on the top, and it looks like this is fitted with a speaker as well. So let's get this back together and then we can put it on the scales and see how much it weighs. So this model comes in at 553 grams. And here's just a quick look at what this locomotive looks like with the pantographs up. So overall, Marklin's rendition here of the Class 150 I think is really good. This DB Cargo red and grey livery is my favourite German livery, and this locomotive has been painted absolutely spot on. It's also got a huge amount of little details on this. I really love the stuff on the top of the roof here. All the little insulators and cables are great. There's also some really nice painting on here, except for just one corner where it was just slightly off, but apart from that it's really good. And the printing of the logos on this is absolutely superb as well. It's up to usual Marklin standard, and the weight of this model and the robustness just screams quality. However, we did have that problem with the buffers at one end which had broken off, which I think is indicative of perhaps the packaging that this comes in is not quite as good as it could be, and it certainly can't withstand Royal Mail. So you'd be wondering how much I paid for this model. Now it is second hand, but it is a digital locomotive and it came in at £114, which I think is quite good because this looks almost like it's brand new and certainly doesn't look as though it's ever been run. It does have automatic uncouplers, it can pick up from overhead power, and it's got some digital features as well. Hopefully one day I'll have a digital setup where I can run this model, but for now it's going to have to sit and wait. Let me know what you think about this 150 in the comments below. I'd love to know your thoughts. And if you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up, it really helps this channel. You can also hit the subscribe button now, which will keep you up to date with model railway news and reviews on this channel. I'll put this on the turntable so you can see all the way around. But that's it for this video. Thanks for watching. See ya.